thing we said.
You let me know when we're on the air.
You got it. I promise we'll
I'll give you another Chris Kennedy. Come on down.
You got it. Stand by for this one, friends. And there might be a little bit of a reverb or an echo, so forgive me if there is. But we will take care of that eventually. Okay, I'm waiting on the YouTube to produce it. Up, it's coming up. Okay, I'm going to be quiet for a few seconds because I heard the sound come on and I don't want anybody to be baffled by the audio quality. So stand by.
Chris Kennedy, come on down.
Thank you.
Yet, for crying out loud.
Yes, you can hear me. Stand by. Let's do that again right now. We're going on.
One is all you get.
Now we're on, Rich. Go right ahead. I'm sorry.
Chris Kennedy, come on down. As close as you'll ever get to being on the show, right?
I hope not. I'm going to try to get on the show like we discussed before. I know we chatted about this a few seconds ago before on camera, but I hope to try out for The Price is Right, either as a contestant or a host or an announcer or just working on the show.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Dream big, brother. Dream big. Everything is possible.
Yes, that's how you do it. Yeah, that's how you play it. So how are you?
Trust your instincts. Your inner GPS.
Your inner God's positioning system.
There you go. You got that right.
Thank you.
It was backwards. It's backwards, isn't it? Oh no, you can see.
No, it's forwards. It's frontwards. I can see it. Let's just let me take a look at my other angle. Yes, it's forwards. Yeah, definitely forwards. So they can get the correct angle. So how are you, Rich?
What do you want to know?
So how you doing? Good?
Yeah, all is well.
That's good. Glad you're doing good. A lot of my friends and the loyal friends and true sent in some questions before the show.
Oh, nice. Let's hear them.
Yeah, I'm going to try to ask as many as possible. I'm going to start with Chuck Dunnigan since he's a legend in the radio field already. Now, let me go to my private messages since he sent that to me on there, and I forgot to print it out. I'm sorry. Chuck Dunnigan wanted to find out, were there any moments or times during your time on TPAR, The Price is Right, that really stood out as memorable?
Oh, my God. Too many. Just like every day for me, first, Chris, was an absolute dream come true. I mean, every day. Every rehearsal, 2 shows a day, 3 days a week, 6 shows a week. I mean, every second of it, the morning directors meetings in the green room with the models and the stage managers. I mean, all of it was, I was just like soaking. I loved it. I loved every second of being there. But I guess, and I talk about it in the book, one of the days where I thought I might have been actually in jeopardy. At The Price is Right, and that's when I accidentally gave away a Corvette with Mr. Barker. That was not a good day, but it's in the book. Read it. He didn't hold it against me. It wasn't my fault. It turns out in the end. But that day, memorable stuff. And you know what? Mr. Barker's 50th year in television celebration that we had for him on Price, that was pretty cool. You know, Adam Sandler came out. I mean, a lot of people came out for that. And then, Bob's final day, I mean, as probably one of the most memorable. My first day there and Bob's final day, probably the two, number 1 and 2 for me as the most memorable days, for so many different reasons, each of them.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing that, Rich. And thank you, Chuck, for asking this wonderful question. Hope you got the answers that you were looking for. I know he did. Yeah, I know he appreciates them. Chuck is a legend he hosts a radio show he used to host it on WVOX with music. And he's very big into the game show genre, too. He was once an audience member on The Price is Right many years ago.
Nice.
Yes. So in your book, you said that you found out you need to be in the union to work on any television show in Los Angeles. However, Ken Jennings is not in the union, and he is hosting Jeopardy in the meantime. Now, is this so, or was I hearing things? And this does...
Well, first of all, is Jeopardy a union signatory show? That's easy to look up. You can go to the SAG-AFTRA website and find out if Jeopardy is a union signatory, it's called. I guarantee it
Probably
is.
isn't. Oh,
I guarantee it is. And if it is, if you're working on the show, you have to be in the union. They probably Taft-Hartley'd him, like Ed Scarborough did for me at CBS Radio way back in, oh God, I can't even tell you the year. It was in the 1900s.
Gotcha. What was that phrase again? You said that they Taft-Hartley.
Taft-Hartley. It's called the Taft-Hartley Act.
Taft-Hartley. So
Yeah.
if you're not in the union, they can get you in the union easily.
They have to prove to the union that they exhausted all other avenues of union talent and didn't find what they want. And that in this case, Ted Jennings was like, the guy. So yeah, we need him in. So if it's a union show, they're union actors.
Okay, so Ken Jennings is now in the union.
Ken Jennings. I said Ted, didn't I? Ken Jennings.
Ken Jennings. No problem. So he's now in the union.
I've been painting my pool deck all day, Chris. I'm in Clearwater Beach, Florida, and it's 2:38 in the afternoon. You can imagine how warm it is outside.
Awesome, yeah.
And so I've been painting the pool deck out there with that cool white decking stuff. It looks fantastic. If I could turn the camera, I'd show you. Proud of my work. But anyway, so I'm a little loopy from being out in the sun and heat.
No problem. So what I really wanted to find out was when you're Taft-Hartley, does that mean you're now in the union or no? Still,
yeah, it's the yes. Once they grant you a Taft-Hartley and everybody signs off on it, the union and your employer, you're in.
Gotcha. Now I might have some more questions about that coming on later on.
Go to the SAG-AFTRA website; they can explain it much better than me.
All right, I'll definitely talk.
That's how I got in. That's how I got in the union.
I'll definitely talk to them. Sure. Obviously, there aren't any. Well, there aren't as many, I should say, new concepts for game shows like there was once upon a time, where there were a dime a dozen. You remember in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, even before then. And they had traditional sets and lighting, like the egg crates and the sports type displays, like those you see on The Price is Right. Old and new, like the Bill Cullen and the Bob Barker and Dennis James or whatever. So compared to today's game shows, which are mostly reboots that are out there with multi-million-dollar budgets, with expensive lighting, flooring, and giant monitors for all over for the score displays. Like Wheel of Fortune, what it evolved to. Jeopardy, what it became of. Whammy, the all new Pressure Luck I'm talking about more so, however. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Pressure Luck, by the way, my favorite game show of all time. Peter Tomarken as host, Rod Roddy as announcer. God, those were the good old days.
Yes, definitely. So having talked about the old game shows when they were a dime a dozen in the 70s and the new game shows, which are full of flashy lights and monitors that cost, I believe, 500 times more than what they did back in the 70s with the old egg crates and old computer monitors, and if there were any.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't work anymore. I mean, we live in a different technical age, so folks expect things to look a certain way now. You've got artificial intelligence creating colors now. And they're much more vivid and bright than anything we've ever seen in our lives. So this is what this is what catches the eye. This is what catches the eye of viewers, especially young viewers, who are so entrenched in all the gaming that they've been brought up with all their lives, all flashy colors and stuff. So that's what they're competing against now. And
Gotcha.
you can understand when that's the mindset. You can understand why shows had to morph and change.
Yes. The reason I asked this is because I created several game show concepts that are fresh and new all the while. I was telling you about this before we started, right? I was trying to revive the genre and few sorts, and I wanted to bring back the retro lighting for the scores, like the egg crates, the sports types, the veins, display retro style scenery like you saw in the 70s and 60s and whatever. So what a podcast, several questions that go into this for those of you that are dying to create their own game shows and are having problems going into television or striking it rich in the TV business. Would a podcasting or a streaming venue be the right place to pitch and produce like such said game show concepts, like the retro style ones? Or what do you suggest for us preservationists of the old time?
What do you mean? What do you mean a podcast to pitch your idea?
Yeah. Like what would podcast?
Like your podcast here, and you get on.
Yes,
and you pitch it.
Like on YouTube or Apple Podcast or
it's
streaming.
Chris, I mean, you got to remember you're dealing with two different entities. Number one, you're talking about a podcast on, say, YouTube, and it's streamed out, and at best maybe a few hundred people see it in its lifetime. Or you're talking about pitching an idea that's going to get on network television someday. Well, then you need to be a credible producer who's had a track record already in Hollywood with games, and those are the people they'll listen to. So you as a guy from Peoria, Illinois, how do you get your game show on? Well, you need to pitch it to one of those production companies. You don't try to get it on TV. You're not going to get it on TV. That's not going to happen. You got to pitch it to a production company, and it's got to be so good and so well thought out. And your personal pitch in front of these people in Los Angeles has to be so good and so compelling. And your idea has to be so different from anything they've ever seen to even get their attention. And remember that when you are pitching them to pitch them, when you're writing them or you're finally in contact with someone and you're trying to get a meeting with them, the first thing they're going to ask you to do is to write out what your show is. Paragraph or two, form. They want to know basically, what is your game show? Trust me, it's not a good feeling when you can't get them to listen to you, but yet you can't get any protection from them saying that they may not steal your idea. I mean, they won't, but you've got to sign away to talk to them, even to pitch them. I just went through this. Trust me, I know. I've done it. I was going to say a million times. That'd be a huge exaggeration.
Yeah.
I have pitched game shows to Fremantle Media, a couple of them, as a matter of fact. Yeah. A couple of smartphone apps, games to Fremantle. I have pitched to Game Show Network.
Nice.
I just pitched to Game Show Network within the last 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what it was about, but that was on Zoom. And, it was kind of like this. They were all in their boardroom, in their conference room back at Game Show Network. And I was here in Clearwater, Florida, and I had an entire recorded presentation that I said, hey, I came on live. I said, hey, thanks so much for, having me here. I said, I really appreciate it. And I'm going to play you a little presentation that's going to tell you in about 60 seconds, 120 seconds, exactly what this game show is all about. And it had all the bells and whistles. It had all the moving parts, all the boards lighting up, very quick editing. And although they were intrigued, they passed because they were working on something not like my idea. It wasn't a game show, by the way. It was something else. And
so your idea was
it takes a lot to get their attention, and to be able to pitch the production company. It takes a lot.
I'm sorry. Your idea was a game show, but theirs wasn't. You were saying, right? What they wanted.
What I was pitching to them was not to Game Show Network or Fremantle.
Game Show
Game
Network.
Show Network. It was not a game show.
Oh, gotcha. You were doing other shows, right? Understood.
So anyway, Chris, I'm just telling you, it's impossible. It's impossible for you to think that you're going to get on, the internet and put your spiel out there and somebody's going to see it. No, man, you got to go for it. You got to dig up at each and every company you want to talk to, from Endemol to Fremantle Media to every production company that does games. And you need to find out who the head of development is at these companies. And you need to find out what their email is. You need to do some work, man. You need to either get on the phone and talk to their people within their company who finally give up the email, get their email, get one person's email, and then just, if it's Fred Westbrook is the guy you're looking for, and you get Irene Kara's, it's irene.kara at Fremantle. Well, now you know Fred Westbrook. It's Fred. Westbrook at Fremantle Media. I mean, so, and then you send an email out to the guy and you see if it sticks. Oh my God, it really worked. And so it takes a lot, but you can do it. And if you do, like I talk about in the book, so many things, it's the Price is Right book, but it talks about attaining goals. And if you do one thing every day that's going to get you one step closer to that goal in life, it will happen. One thing, make one phone call, send out one email, make one contact, get one more other email from somebody. Do one thing every day that's going to get you one step closer to the ultimate goal in life, and it'll happen. You just got to do the work. You got to do your part. God will help you, but you got to do your part.
So you got to be persistent, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, is it your ultimate goal in life? Is this the thing you really want to do?
You better believe it. It's one of them.
Then, then prioritize and get on it. Like soon as you hang up with me, get on it.
Definitely. Another thing I would like to point out is that I'm a big loyal friend and true of audience participation shows like Truth or Consequences and others that Bob Barker and other radio personalities have hosted or produced. I want to know what your thoughts are. How can we bring back the audience participation genre? You would have to go to Fremantle and see if they're interested in it, right?
Well, what do you mean by audience participation? You mean a show with a live studio audience?
Yeah, something like or recorded or that was live to tape, like Price is Right, Truth or Consequences.
Well, they have shows that have live audiences. I mean, actually, most all of them have live audiences.
What I meant was live to tape. You know what I mean? You know how Bob Barker said they didn't take breaks like Price is Right today does. They don't stop tape for anything.
That's a show host preference, Bob. Hey, if there was if we just got done with the first act and we'll be back right after these messages and everybody's clapping and it goes to commercials. If we have 2.5 minutes of commercials that are sold from the network in that spot, Bob wanted to stop down for the 2.5 minutes and then he wanted to stand by. Here we go, everybody. 10 seconds coming back. Bob, camera 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rich, what is the next name on your list? I mean, Bob liked to treat it like a live show. That's what gave him the excitement was the live audience being there and treating it like a live show. Maybe Drew doesn't want to treat it like a live show like that. Maybe he wants to take extra time down. Maybe they want to go quicker between spots. That's a host preference, really. And I would also have to say the adept ability of the director and staff. If they're a bunch of newbies that's taken forever to tape shows, if they're seasoned and they know what they're doing, runs like clockwork.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you about another concept that Bob Barker said in his book for the audience participation. There was a host on the radio that was had a show. He recorded it in local restaurants, and whoever hosted that show played games and jokes with people at the restaurant eating there. Like this was sort of like a Truth or Consequences, but it took place in like a diner or diners across the states. That this was like an idea that a host hadn't actually aired on radio. Bob Barker said. Bob
said that
in his book, yeah. Priceless Memories.
Oh, it's been a long time since I read it. And are you asking me who that host was? I don't know.
No. I don't remember the host. No, I wasn't asking you. I don't think you would know either, unless you do. But I was wondering, that would be a good concept to bring back for radio or something, if they were interested in that, right?
Probably not. I mean, maybe hometown stuff in a farming town where the local community diner was the one place in that little town that everybody knew about, and you were on that local radio station in those four corners of that town, maybe. But as a national show, I don't see that going.
Gotcha. So going to your book finally, those are pretty much my questions of my own. So your book is titled Trust Your Inner GPS, which means God's positioning system. How trusting my intuition manifested my way to becoming Bob Barker's announcer on The Price is Right.
Yes.
How did trusting your inner GPS get you to work with Bob Barker at The Price is Right?
Well, Chris, since I was a little boy, something inside me told me I was going to do that in life. It wasn't a feeling of, hey, I'm interested in this. It wasn't even, oh, you should think about this. It was like, you're going to do this. And I don't know what it was. I call it, my intuition. And everything I did in life, every college course I took, every job I accepted, it was with one thing in mind. Is this going to get me one step closer to working on Stage 33 at Television City with Bob Barker at The Price is Right? If the answer was no, I didn't take the course. I didn't accept the job. I didn't go to that market. Everything and believe me, I made some mistakes in life, but every time I did, it was because I didn't listen to my intuition, my inner GPS. Which I call it, for today's vernacular of the guidance system, in your brain, in your life, in your soul. And it does have double meaning. It's God's positioning system for our lives. I mean, what is this voice inside my head telling me you're going to be Bob Barker's announcer on The Price is Right? I mean, as a little boy, holding my mom's black hairbrush like a microphone,
yes.
Looking at the TV going, come on down. And it's a new car. I mean, crazy. So I didn't mess it up. And I mean, I did a couple of times. I got off track. But once I realized I made a mistake, bad relationship, wrong market to move to, whatever it was, I got out of it and corrected the course and got back on track and made it and freaking made it to The Price is Right. 2 cancer scares, homeless in Hollywood. A lot of, what they try to make a big deal about in these shows now, every television show on TV, from The Voice to just all of them, they got these stories of these people, these backstories of these people. Well, that's life, man. That's what gives you character. It ain't to boo-hoo about. You know what I'm saying? What'd you do? Did you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get out of it and get to it and get your dream? Congratulations. That's fantastic, man.
Oh, yes.
But I'm not going to, as I'm going through all this and as I'm at The Price is Right, I'm not saying, hey, I've had cancer twice and I was homeless. And no, I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's stuff that makes you grow inside. You let it out and start telling people to get accolades, I think you lose. You lose whatever goodness that you have cultivated from that hardship. Don't be braggadocious, man. Don't be. You'll get knocked down plenty of times in life, and you'll be like, "Damn, I wish I wasn't so, cocky when I said this." So, be humble. Humility in life. Humility. God. Humility.
Humility, yeah. So you talk about your inner GPS a lot in the book. Do you have a more spiritual meaning for GPS, don't you? I think I said it before, God's positioning system.
You got it, baby. Ding, 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 ding. What did he win? Johnny.
I could do my own Johnny Olsen impersonation. Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Not bad.
Oh, thank you. I came close to Johnny. Or what about Roddy? Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Chris, they sounded remarkably identical.
Yes. My voiceovers? Or the two people, you mean?
Next question.
Okay, we'll go on to the next question. You say that since you were a young kid that you always knew that you'd be working with Bob Barker at The Price is Right. How'd you know that?
I think we talked about that already.
Okay, so we went over, yeah.
This is like Kramer when he has the
We'll
Merv
pass.
Griffin set in his apartment and he's got the note cards and
What made you think of
wait a
all
minute, that
things?
one's not for you.
All right, good. So give us an idea of some inside stories. I think you might have given me some inside stories, but see if you have any more about Bob Barker that you have in the book. And in the book, you talk about the close relationship that you and your wife had with Mr. Barker. Give us an example of something that Bob did with you or for you, if you can, that nobody ever knew about. Like these two questions. Some inside stories and some close examples of what.
I'll answer both with one instance.
Okay.
And that was our wedding reception in 2004.
Oh, wow.
And it was at our home in Beverly Hills in the back yard area. And
Yes.
leading up to this, I said to Kathy Greco one day, I said, "Hey, Kathy, I want to invite the whole show, to our wedding party." She goes, "Oh, you don't want to do that." I said, "No, I really do." I'd been there like a year. I knew them all. I mean, everybody from the grips backstage to the sound guys upstairs to the editors. I mean, everybody. And I said, I also want to invite the trailer, which is, the production staff of the show, Roger, Kathy, those folks, the daily production people. I said, I also want to invite the trailer, and I want to invite Mr. Barker. And she goes, "Oh, Barker will never come."
Really?
And I said, "No." She said, "No, he never comes to this stuff." I said, "Oh, well, I still want to invite him. I want to know he was invited, so I'm going to send him an invite." Well, anyway, he showed up.
Wow.
And among other things that just came to my mind about that night at the party, Mr. Barker stayed the entire night. A couple of the guys on the that work at CBS that were like grips and cameramen and stuff like that, they had a band, and they were like, "We want to play at your party." So I said, "Sure, come on," And so they were the music, and Bob loved them. I mean, they were playing like, stuff from the 60s, some old stuff, Fortunate Son, songs like that, and just popular songs from the day. And not that was Bob's era. Bob was probably more of a fan of 20s, 30s music, frankly. But these guys were so good and so talented, and everybody was having such a good time. I mean, it was the one chance for everybody who never really gets to talk to Bob. They may pass him and say, "Hi, Mr. Barker, hey, Bob." But I mean, to actually get to speak with Bob for a few minutes with nobody hurrying Bob, like, "Let's go, Bob," everyone at that party got to speak with Bob, and Bob loved it. He loved meeting the wives of the guys that he worked with on the set, or the husbands of the ladies that worked with him on the set. And he loved it. He stayed there all night long, Chris.
Amazing.
And unbeknownst to me, we asked when I put up the invitations backstage at The Price is Right and sent them out there. We asked it. No presents. Don't bring nothing but yourselves. And unbeknownst to me, everybody's leaving the party and it's all wrapping up. And my wife, after everybody was gone, she said, "Bob Barker gave me this. He slipped it." I said, "When?" "He slipped it in my hand when he hugged me hello at the door when he first got here." And I stuck it she was wearing a sweater. She said, "I stuck it in a sweater pocket. I just thought about it." And inside, Chris, was an American Express gift card. And I won't say how much. I didn't say how much it was in the book. I'm not going to tell folks how much it was for, but he was just unbelievably generous.
It's very
And
kind of him.
he didn't have to do it. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Also at that party, it was pretty cool was, and this photo is in the book, by the way, there was some mistletoe. I think, am I holding it? I can't remember. I think I'm holding it over Christine, and Bob's giving my wife a kiss under the mistletoe because it was right around Christmas. This all happened right around Bob's birthday.
Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome. So
it was a great night, man.
So you got married in December 2000, whenever it was.
Who, me?
Right? Yeah, you, right?
Yeah, 2004.
Nice.
December 11th, because Bob's birthday was the 12th, and we knew not to have it on Bob's birthday. Actually, Bob said, "Don't you dare get married on my birthday. Keep that sacred."
Oh, my God. So, a lot of what you're touting sounds like self-manifestation. That's what's really going on there. We know it is.
Well,
right?
Remember, a lot of folks kind of confuse this word manifestation. And if you look it up in, Webster's dictionary, manifestation is the showing of something.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Go ahead, Rich.
The showing of something. That's the best way I can describe it. The way you can, like, for me, the manifestation for me was the way I could see my path to The Price is Right. I was going to get into radio. I was going to get credentials behind me to be able to get out to Los Angeles and get in radio because I wanted to be the announcer of The Price is Right. I knew the two previous guys before me were both in radio. So there was a plan. You know what I mean? I manifested, listening to my intuition manifested my way. It showed me the way to get to The Price is Right. So a lot of people think that, I am manifesting this $50 million to come to me. That's not the right word, frankly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Certain meaning to it. Gotcha.
It's kind of gotten muddled now with the new age of things, but manifestation is like, are you a Christian?
Yeah.
So manifestation would be Jesus showing himself to the apostles who were so scared up in the room, after his crucifixion and his burial. He manifested it. He showed himself to them up in the room while they were so afraid to go out. They thought they'd be killed. You know what I mean? So manifestation is, the appearance or the showing of something.
Ah, yes. I'm not a fan of the new age of things. I'm more of a retro kind of, like, old school.
No.
I am. I'm telling you, I am. That's why I'm so with the game show concepts and everything, the old methods of things. That's why I'm so stuck in the past. If you know what I mean.
Take your concept and update it for today. You'll have a better road to hoe.
I guess, yeah. Okay.
An easier road to hoe.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good, yeah. So a real eye-opener in the book was the fact that you were a cancer patient from very early on in life. You told us that 2 times, and you pushed through that, and you tried to stay positive. Sorry if the questions are so repetitive. I'm going through the note cards here.
Not to worry. You'll edit this beautifully before it airs, I know.
I'm sure I will. I'll do 2 versions. The edited version.
It's airing now.
Yes, it is. I know. We'll do the edited version, and we'll do a live to tape version that has more obvious whatever they call mess ups or whatever. But if you want to talk more about that, how did you try to stay positive? What was your mindset?
The way to stay positive through it all for me was that carrot that I dangled out there in front of myself. What was the carrot? Well, it was to work with Bob Barker at The Price is Right. So, there's a setback. All of a sudden doctors are telling me, hey, you got to lose your left testicle. It's a tumor. We're going to have to remove it. Oh, it's 6-8 months later, the bad cells got milked up into your lower lymphatic system. I mean, all this is bad news, right? Well, there's a way to take bad news, and that is to freak out or to figure out how you're going to get through it and continue on. And for me, I knew I was going to be Bob Barker's announcer at The Price is Right. And I had to get through these things to get to get there. I mean, I just couldn't give up or give in, or, I mean, you got to fight through these things. And even about sleeping in my car in Hollywood. I mean, that was my, that was my choice. I put myself in that situation. When I got fired from radio in Denver, and I said, hey man, this is the best chance for me to just pack up and go to LA and get on an LA radio station. Now's the time. I'm not working for anybody. Let's go. So I'm the one that drove myself out to Hollywood, knowing, number one, I didn't have any money in my pocket. Number two, I didn't have any place to live, no place to eat. I put myself in that situation because I'd have done anything, Chris.
Yeah.
Anything. Well,
you heard those words in your mind. Come on down, and you wanted to be a part of it.
Especially after the when I went there to the show in 1979. I talk about this in the book. My dad and I snuck into CBS, and we got caught and read about it, but we got to see a show, and I got to get on stage with Johnny Olson. After that moment, I can remember sitting in my seat, looking at Johnny and looking at Bob as the show is being taped, and thinking, oh my God, I am working here. This is where I'm working. This is where I'm going to work. And I knew it as a little kid. Now at 18 years old, I'm sitting in the audience watching a show being taped. And I just knew it. I knew I was going to work there. It's the weirdest thing, Chris. I half-heartedly wrote this book hoping that other people would come out and go, oh God, the same thing happened to me as a kid, this. And that's how I became, whatever. So still waiting to hear from those folks, but somehow I knew.
We got a lot of questions. We did find some folks. We have Daniel says, Pressure Luck was fun. He's going to see it live at the studio today. And he also says it's good to have multiple goals. Just got to take each one step by step. Yeah. Bob Barker was very special that way. He loved what he did. He also says, can be hard to find a balance between humility and standing out. You want to be humble, but do want to get noticed. And also Jay says, hi, Rich. You are amazing then. You are amazing now. He also says, here it comes with a wink. And Daniel, back to Daniel, he said, Bob was such a people person. He loved mankind and animal kind alike. He said it was marvelous. The reception one heck of a reception it was. And he says, when there's a problem, find a solution. And as far as my Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and I'm checking my email right now to find out if we got any more questions for you.
That's okay. I'll come on again next time and save them for then.
You sure you want to do another interview with me?
Someday, sometime, when I got something else.
Please, let's plan it. We have a lot to talk about.
When I got something else to tout. By the way, let me do this before we go. Yes. There's a paperback version. There's a hardcover version. There's a Kindle e-book version. There's an audiobook version. You can get them all. Just go to richfields.tv, www.richfields.tv. They're all there. The audio version I voice. So it's like me telling my own story, and people are digging it. So,
and don't forget the 15 podcasts he's got on. You'll learn a lot more there.
What's that?
The 15 podcasts you posted up with, where was that? Dave or Gino? Gino, right?
Oh, yeah. Those are there. Those are there as well. The original podcast that Gino and I did back in 2019, 2020, just before COVID hit. There's 15 episodes. A lot of Price is Right fans never heard a lot of that's in there. Especially the last episode. That last episode, number 15, never aired. So there's a chance for you to get those at richfields.tv too as well. Thanks for mentioning that. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. Absolutely.
And you've been cool.
Yes, thank you. Another question I had for you is, are you ever going to get the ones with Dave on, the podcast with Dave?
No, those belong to somebody else, and I don't have the rights to those.
I understand. Thank you for letting us know that.
My pleasure, brother.
How much time do you have left?
I've got another Zoom here shortly, so if you got a question, let's get it.
We'll take one question from a lucky listener, and I promise there'll be a part 2. We're going to ask Michael Trinzillo's question. What was your favorite version of Card Shark? You remember that game show, right?
Bob Eubanks.
Definitely Bob Eubanks. There's your answer, Michael.
Bob Eubanks.
And what did you like about Bob Eubanks?
I love Bob's acerbic wit.
Yeah.
If you don't know what acerbic means, look it up.
I am.
It was kind of a biting wit. You know what I mean? Kind of a smart-assy wit. Acerbic. A little acid to it.
Well, he was friendly, but he was joking.
Great guy in person. Met him a couple times. He and I had the same agent, Fred Westbrook, for many, many years. Love Bob Eubanks.
I heard Bob Eubanks is
Bob Eubanks has some great Bob Barker stories. Next time you see Bob, ask him about him.
You got it. We will definitely talk to Bob Eubanks here.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for having me on here, Rich. We will do this again.
Okay. Have a great night.
You too. Thank you, man. And we learned a lot about things here. Let's stop the camera. We learned a lot about everything here about Rich. We're going to do a part 2, friends. Thank you, Daniel, for everything. And we will see you again. Yes, thank you. It's our pleasure. I will definitely pass the word along to Rich. And you have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time on all over the internet and on YouTube. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.